second draft now starting up, I think Blaze do need to get a little bit more of a solid stone for that mid lane, something that they can fall back on, something they can rely upon. So even if we are going to continue to see similar bans of the Seraphine, of the Orianna, you do need to focus on something maybe a bit more generic, like a Syndra, to just be that consistent output of damage that is very difficult to miss. Because, I mean, we saw a lot of times the Nico just wasn't connecting the dots. And so we're actually going to see the Kai'Sa being banned away from WyoBoomers this time. Guppy, apparently pretty scary, going 7-1.
Yeah, Guppy was looking like a shark out there on the Kai'Sa, just chomping away at everybody, and I think that that's a really intelligent ban. Hecarim also taken away. The Boomers on red side are getting rid of Seraphine, and Seraphine has just been a nightmare for everybody to deal with, so I would not be surprised to see all 4 games we streamed tonight have that Seraphine ban on the red side, because basically everybody and their mother wants to get their hands on that pick. Anivia going to be taken away from Catalyst again, and this time Udyr banned from the Boomers. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm curious about that because, yes, it's very strong, but it kind of forces a difference in picks. I believe you can't just slot the Udyr into anything, right? Like, you do need a little bit of priority in your lanes, and I think the way they draft and the way they play, I think Boomers are pretty confident in being able to get that priority in their lanes to allow that Udyr to have that, reign of freedom, whereas I don't think Blaze in this particular matchup have that same feedback. They get the Shen, though, so I know Zephyr, who isn't here right now, is doing the jumpy dance in his chair, clapping along with the rest of you at home.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's a guy who has nothing but positive things to say about the Shin, except for maybe Vladimir. Vladimir is going to be drafted. I'm assuming that's going to be into the Shin. It does fairly well, I find, usually into the matchup. I don't know. Do you have a differing opinion on that?
No, I think you're right on the money. It's just I haven't seen a Vlad in a very long time. I don't think the preseason patch actually did him a lot of favors, so it'll be interesting to see this. This is quite literally the first Vladimir I've seen, both in a tournament setting and in my own solo queue, since preseason patch hit. I straight up haven't seen it. I don't know what they build. I don't know what they do. I assume they still have the same abilities. I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea. I got nothing.
Well, hey, the spells are still the same, so we have that to look forward to. Jin also locked in for the Boomers, and I'm always actually a fan of taking Jin into the Samira. I feel like Roach may have gotten himself a slight counter pick here when dealing with the Jin, because while Jin doesn't have the on hit not necessarily on hit. I mean to say the movement that Samira brings to the table. That Deadly Flourish is a Samira's nightmare because it doesn't actually, the Blade World doesn't cancel it. And that's a fact that I always like to bring up whenever Samira, the Devil Child, is brought into any game I'm watching.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I do think that the Jhin is just overall better for teams right now than the Samira. Samira at the absolute maximum level of play is a nightmare for pretty much anybody.
Yeah.
But I think when you're breaking compositions down to ease of execution like we did in game 1, I think Jhin just overall is a more straightforward pick. You have less to worry about. Yeah, you need to learn how to count to 4, but I mean, that's easy. You just pick up your toe and you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're good to go. Plus, they're comboing it with this Alistar, which is just an absolute horror show for the enemy bot lane. I do think Samira Rel is very strong, mainly because Rel is really strong and really straightforward. But I think the Jhin Alistar combo is probably one of the best combinations in the bot lane right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's nearly at Caitlyn Morgana levels back when that was a prevalent thing. And hey, speaking of that Blade Whirl, doesn't stop a big old cow flying your way either. So I do think that Samira has a bit of a rough laning phase ahead of her. And honestly, I think that story that we were kind of weaving in the last game, where it came to, can the Catalyst Blaze bot lane survive the early game against the Boomers? Last game, I think they did fairly well, but that was mostly because Birdman sort of flew the coop and he was never in the bot lane. And the one time they made any sort of play there, they got a kill on that bottom side. This time with the Alistar, I'm hoping, Birdman's going to lend a little more assistance to the Jhin. But we'll have to see on that. I mean, this guy likes to run around the map. So, and I think Alistar's a little bit better for that than Nautilus anyway, but we'll find out.
Man, what an interesting series of events this second half of draft is already starting. We saw more junglers being banned away from the Boomers, the Olaf and the Skarner on the ban board, whereas Blaze pivoting to the mid lane once again. Cassiopeia, obviously a huge problem last game. Yone just absolutely busted right now. Get that guy out of my game. And it does leave the Boomers to picking up Rek'Sai, which is a strong pick for that team in particular. It's a very interesting pick overall. And I do know that our casters are really enjoying this draft so far because they were livid about Catalyst Blaze not picking Kindred last game. This time, they're getting their wish. They're getting a Kindred Galio mid lane duo, which is very strong, and it does leave Boomers the counter pick for mid lane.
Yeah, but build armor, win game. I mean, you literally just set the Boomers up for the easiest walk in the park ever, and outside of the... Yeah, they still got another pick. I mean, there's still time.
They're have not picking mid lane set.
Look, honestly, I wouldn't even hold it against them if they did, but they have the Alistar who could go hardcore tank mode. They have the Rek'Sai who, if they so deem it, could also go that route. And honestly, you have a bunch of kind of like the only real damage that's going to be coming out of Blaze is going to be that 80 damage. I think that they're going to be running into a wall if they can't run away with the game very quickly, and their early game is not what I consider to be their strength.
No, I mean, the Blaze early game is quite not very good, if we're going to be putting it eloquently. They do have
just very elegant.
They do have an amazing post 6 with, one global, one semi-global. They can really turn fights in the terms of numbers, which is amazing in these skirmishy, mid games and early game type situations. And WyoBoomers, if they get caught out, if they find themselves in like a 2v2 situation, very quickly can it become a 4v2 not in their favor. So if we look to game 1, Boomers were very proactive. They're very quick to move around the map, and Kato's Blaze fell and lagged a bit behind. But this time, they don't really have to worry about it. Who needs macro play when you can just press R?
I mean, you have a point. I can't argue with that specifically, but you just have to think, like, who on Catalyst Blaze is really going to match up to a Vladimir or a Victor in the side lane? And yeah, sure, they could bring in 4 people on the blink of an eye, but the Boomers are not the sort of squad that is prone to inactivity. They're going to go and find things to do around the map. And sure, you can kill that Vladimir or that Victor when he's off by himself, but you have to believe that with the Boomers macro play, they're going to be grabbing advantages around the map that's not revolving around that side lane. So I still think the Boomers have a better draft. Now, I do think the Catalyst Blaze have a very good win condition. It's fairly clear, and their team fight is gnarly. But I still think that they have their work cut out for them if they're gonna, deal with the Boomers.
Yeah, I mean, they have a lot to work up to. Game 1 wasn't very confidence boosting as a spectator. But I mean, a lot of this game is going to come down to Roach on the Samira. Does have the ability to hyper carry this game, is a really strong champion, has a lot of survivability once they get that Immortal Shield Bow, which was buffed, by the way. So it does have a little bit more oomph behind it. And with a Galio Shield, with a Stand United backing them up, it really is almost a one-man show. I mean, even if you then throw the Lamb's Respite in there, that is 3 ultimates designed specifically to keep Roach alive in these team fights. And I'm curious if that actually works out. And I think a big issue for Blaze this game is going to be the Vladimir, right? Like I know I kind of memed it about how it really hasn't been seen, but it is the tried and true counter to this top lane Shen. And if you're going to combine that with a Rek'Sai, that is a deadly combination for Shen. They're not really going to be able to play League of Legends in this lane, and it's going to take a lot to stay alive.
Yeah, Major Winters is he's got a long, arduous road ahead of him here. It's going to be very difficult for him to play this game well, and The problem with Vladimir is, one, Vladimir will become that one shot, just blast your whole team and rip them to shreds if you let them farm up. Now, they have tools to deal with that, but it doesn't change the fact that fear is still there for the Vladimir. And Papa Francesco, I mean, he's nothing, he's no joke. He will get this Vlad where it needs to go. You're just, I really am hesitant to call this draft even for Blaze.
I'm thinking about how disgusting Leander's Anguish, Demonic Embrace, Ryla's Crystal Scepter, Vladimir is gonna be. That is a lot of burn, a lot of stats, and I don't know how you kill that as Blaze. That's not even considering the rest of the team.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nightmare scenario when you're trying to figure out what to do with the Crimson Man. But the one thing that I am super excited for Catalyst Blaze is Red getting his hands on a carry champion. Red is such a good carry player, not because he's consistent at carrying, but because he has that Blabbers play style where he'll shoot for the moon or fall on his face, and I'd rather see that than that half tank, half AP version of Gragas he was going for last game. You have a champion. If you build a tank item on Kindred, you've done something seriously wrong. So I'm really excited to see this dude take that Lamb's Respite and really start doing some damage to some of the boomers.
Yep, and so with Catalyst Blaze completely revamping their team composition, we are going to have to see if this can light the fire within to hopefully take it out over the Boomers. We are going to be heading to a short break, but stay tuned. We do have Game 2 between these two teams coming up in just a second, and don't you forget that on the end of this break spot, we do have Necrox and the DJ waiting for you live, and you aren't going to want to miss them, just like we don't. So grab your snacks and be back here in just a minute.
Hello everyone and welcome here to Summoner's Rift. Thank you Doctor and Juicebox Guy for breaking down game number 1, but who cares about all that analyst crap? We got action coming at you here between WyoBoomers and Catalyst Blaze. The draft has been switched up, and now Catalyst Blaze looking to take this 1-1 and Boomers looking to take it 2-0. DJ, I know you don't like this Kindred pick. I wanted to see it in game 1.
They're trolling me. They're trolling me. They're trolling me. They are absolutely trolling me here, Necrox. I wanted the Kindred in game number 1 because they lacked an AD threat. When do you want Kindred? You want Kindred in the jungle when you have AP top mid and you have no AD threat, or you have some sort of supportive AD champion, and also that you don't get blasted in the jungle farming. I admit that in game number 1, the Udyr would certainly blast you in the jungle farming, but you lacked any damage. In this game, you have an AD threat. Its name is Samira, piloted by OG Roach. You also have an engaged composition that wants to dive into the backline, which Kindred doesn't do. So explain to me what's happening. I see the win condition. The win condition for Blaze here is you want to kite back initially on the fight and then release your engaged tools after it starts. You want to re-engage to win the fight, but that is asking for a very narrow and specific win condition in which you have to wait for the fight to start, get it right with all of your timings, and then if everyone's not dead, re-engage the fight. That is asking for a lot, and I will be interested to see if they can pull it off. If they can, props to them, but yeah, a lot of questions about this draft.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot of resources on this. Samira Roach is going to be the man to look at, right? That Lamb's Respite is basically a get-out-of-jail-free card for the CC that can come in on top of the Samira. If you get interrupted out of your combo and you're going to die as... Okay, Winters goes for a flash play. Interesting. Regardless, it's a get-out-of-jail-free card for this Samira. Taunt to the top lane once more. Alrighty, there you go, and Winters solo kills Francesco. The flash was just a bait all along. And
I love it.
Here we go. Winters,
oh my god!
Chaos! What the hell is going on? And we're playing. Wait, Winters should die here regardless. Rosero should have his tunnel up relatively soon. Gets a little bit of extra damage there. The pool party Rek'Sai. The coolest skin in the game. No way Winters gets out of this one. His team is here, but Trinity will be gifted the kill. And now Kael'Ma's gonna have to flash away, but a beautiful flash in front of the Justice Punch from Rosero. And what in the world is going on tonight? It is a full moon. It's gotta be because the claws are out. And Boomers find themselves 2-1 all of a sudden.
Oh, it all started so well, Necrox. What happened? Major Winners played it great. He gets the flash under the Vlad. He recognizes Shen as a super powerful champion in the first 3 levels. If you guys have never seen a video of Shending Help, the EU Challenger 1 trick on Shen, he loves the first 3 levels on this champion because it's so powerful. Takes the solo kill, but just sticks around too long. He gets wrapped around by the jungler, Rosero. They chase him all the way to mid lane, and then he helpfully baits in Kael'Ma in a 2v2. They can't, really a 3v2. They can't win. 2 players go down, and the lead is restored for the likes of WyoBoomers, who are now trying to make some more action happen in mid, but here's the counter game.
They've got a double taunt. The Justice Punch not available just quite yet. The Winds of War, they blow, but Rosero is always going to win the fight there, and the Rek'Sai has so much damage. Red flashes forward, gets return kill onto Trinity. Now it's a 1v1 between the junglers. Red has red buff. Aptly to the name, the knockup is there, and Rosero is on a killing spree, has found 3 of the 4 kills for his squad, and Boomers have found a few kills, but Blaze fighting back, but it's still a gold lead for Boomers. They are on top.
Yes, they are, and you can see why the Rek'Sai was banned away from Rosero in game number 1. We haven't seen it in a while. It is a heavily early game champion, but you are seeing why it's an early game champion. Absolutely dishing out the damage as they win another mid-jungle 2v2 here. Trinity flashing out at the right time to survive. I do like the aggressive follow-up by CE Red. Gets in there, gets the kill on Kindred, gets a mark for himself, which are always critical, but has no way to run out Rosero, who picks up another one. Already sitting 3-0-1 on this Rek'Sai, and that is a terrifying sight for anyone in the early stages of a game as we run into a pause.
Yeah, we're going to get a pause here, and As you and I are both AD carry mains, we can know how Roach is feeling right now. Like, guys, I'm the win condition. Please stop feeding Rosero on this Rek'Sai. She's going to one-shot me the moment I try to enter the fight, and it's going to be a rough time for Roach if he doesn't get the perfect, pixel-perfect and picture-perfect engage here with this team, with Cinema on the rail, with Kelma on the Galio. Rosero is just going to explode Roach. There's not really much the Blade Whirl can do when Rosero's knocking you up and beating you down with this lethality. So Roach needs to be very, very picky about when he decides to go in, because Boomers have found a lot of early gold, and playing Samira from behind is no easy task.
Yep, fortunately, Samira is very ahead, 10 CS up on the Jhin right now, which is very well played against what is a higher range matchup into a Jhin Alistar. But as you mentioned, and I'll paint the scene here, it's 2018, 2019. IG are about to win the World Championship. Their jungler is playing Rek'Sai every game. And what is he doing? Flying into the backline to kill the enemy AD carry at the cost of his own life. Ending each game 11-11 and like 5 because he doesn't care. Except this time, with how fed Rosero is, he's going to fly in, kill the AD carry, and live.
I'll paint a better picture for you here. Rosero's going to one-shot literally everyone that walks up to him all the way up until 25 minutes, because this Rek'Sai is just ridiculously strong, already sitting on a serrated Dirk, boots, and some cloth armor to boot. So Boomers sitting comfy with this lead. Really just need to hold on to this one, let that Vladimir counterpick settle in, get this Victor his hex score upgrades, and wait till Guppy completes an item or so, and this composition will be a-okay. Get this Rek'Sai involved in early dragons, early skirmishes, and every single fight that breaks out should go Boomer's way.
Yep, really should. And keep an eye on some of the lanes. The farm is pretty even at the moment across a couple of the lanes, the mid and the bot lane, kind of splitting here with the lead over the likes of Catalyst Blaze on OG Roach, but a pretty hefty CS lead in mid lane for Trinity on this Victor. Is not something you want to see, as those are the late game scalers for the likes of WyoBoomers. Not a whole lot going on around the map. That Drake has been sitting up for quite some time here, Necrox. We'll see if and when these teams want to hover around, although, as you mentioned, they do have a couple of champions on each side that just are pretty happy sitting around and taking CS so they can get to some of their power spikes on these items.
Yeah, and no one really wanting to contest early dragons. Kindred, known for that early objective damage, but not willing to do this one when she is so far behind against the Rek'Sai. 3 kills down, or 2 kills relative to her opponent, but certainly a lot of gold here in the pocket of Rosero. Needs to put that to work. Rek'Sai is a champion that can't sit around and wait for plays to happen. Very much so wants to get involved early game. And you can see now on your minimap, Rosero will be taking this first drag and should secure this one just fine. Smite is in hand, and that one will go down no problem. So that's what you like to see. Early objective here to Rosero. First Infernal Dragon, and an Ocean will be our next.
Yep, no Ocean Soul going to be allotted in this one. Will be the Mountain or the Cloud, which is probably good news for Catalyst, but they're going in.
Baromancy crash down onto Birdman, who's at about half HP. The Blade Whirl gonna do a little bit of damage, and there's the Inferno trigger doing about half of Guppy's health bar, but couldn't find the engage onto Birdman as he's flashed away. Guppy ticked down to about half, but not a bad trade overall for Roach and Cinema as they get the flash out of the Alistar.
Yeah, very nice trade. They see the advantage.
Look at the aggressive play, the stun, the plays. There's the Samir, but the Rek'Sai was over the wall, and Roach has been caught out. Cinema's going to be here as well. The next one certainly to fall. Baromancy crash down only gets you so far, and look how damn slow this Rel is. Can't get away from Papa, who TP'd into the fight, and a beautiful bait from WyoBoomers, and they get the entire bot lane to Catalyst Blaze.
Oh, it's just so well done by WyoBoomers, and Rosero in particular. Reading the tea leaves, he knows where Catalyst Blaze want what to go. He knows what they want to do. I love the play from Ocinema. It's really aggressive. She knows they still have the advantage with this level 680 carry. There's no cooldown on the Samira ultimate, so they can just go back in and try to get this kill. Guppy goes down so low. but the cleanse there with a little bit of a heal is able to get away, and there is Rosero around the corner, cleans up the first kill. It's easy to run down Cinema on that rail for the second.
They're
now
going for it.
one.
No, it's the turret. It almost killed off Rosero, but it didn't in the end. I thought maybe Winters was going to find an outplay there, but again, a good gank from Rosero, and I'll keep saying the man's name until it appears in lights. This Rek'Sai is showing up on Summoner's Rift. It is a niche champion. It is not a popular pick here, at least in Excellency League, but WyoBoomers and Rosero in particular are putting good work in on this jungler and showing us exactly the power of this Rek'Sai early on. And there's your taunt engage on to Papa. Still has the pool available. A lot of damage coming down from Red, who still has the flash available. Gonna hop forward 1, 2, 3, skip, jump. One more would do it. Red still has the Lamb's Respite, but Papa's not dead just quite yet. Rosero's here as well. There's the hero's entrance, but Unstoppable goes one. Remember, the turret was doing so much damage this entire time. Kalma's low. One more turret shot isn't gonna find the mark, and Kalma escapes with double-digit HP. A good response play from Catalyst Blaze, but Papa gets away, which makes it a 1-for-1.
Oh, it's such a good response, and it's just millimeters away for CE Red to pick up that mark onto the Vladimir, which would have turned everything around. Instead, ends up taking a ton of damage. Hold on here. Major might be in trouble.
Winners is dead to rights. Taunt gonna go forward as well. There's the passive punch from Kalma, who's there to return back the kill. Winters goes down in the process, but they get Trinity. They get this one. Kalma's gonna look for more. The Winds of War blow, but they won't find the mark as Papa had his pool available. And lots of heavy trading here on the top side, excuse me, as Rosero is still hovering around. Kalma so low. Once again, there's your headbutt pulverized onto Rocha. Sun gonna go down to the enemy AD carry. Remember, there's no cleanse, there's no flash on this Jhin. That's the problem. And there's your Inferno trigger. It's gonna come out momentarily. Spin to win. The damage gets him in. And double kill for Roach on the Samira. That's the power of the Rel on those early engages. Kalma going down to the top side to a good tower dive. TP here from Trinity to respond to bot lane, and there's fighting all over Summoner's Rift, but Boomers lose their bot lane and get a kill into Kalma on top.
Yeah, I absolutely love what's happening. Catalyst Blaze not going down without a fight despite trailing in this one. And despite the strength of Rosero, they continue to try to make plays around the map. CE popping up in that top lane, narrowly missing. Oh, no.
Oh, no. Red. Oh, Red, that's not your blue buff, my friend. And he goes down for it. That is the definition of an overstay, if not just downright greedy. And Boomers find an easy pickup onto what should be one of the main carries here for Catalyst Blaze. Red not having a good game this time, and Winters now in a lot of trouble. Has to find a miracle play to get out of this one. Has the flash Rosero there with a knockup, and Papa's going to do a little bit of damage, and they're going to pass this one off to Vladimir every day of the week. Major Winters dead for the 4th time this game. Rift Herald is popped. Easy as you like. A lot of extra gold in the back pocket of this Vladimir.
Okay. So I'm gonna go back to my point before all this happened. Nobody saw a missed dash over the wall. That didn't happen. We didn't see that. So yeah, Catalyst Blaze not going down without a fight, cropping up all over the map, trying to make things happen. They get those kills in bot lane. Their jungler suddenly disappears. Don't know how or why. And then there's more fighting in the top side as Rosero is there once again to pile on the advantages for Papa Francesco. They hand over the kill for the 4th death over to Major Winters, and things are starting to snowball out of control in all the chaos. I like the fact that Catalyst Blaze is fighting back. They're currently taking this Ocean Drake, but it's just getting spread out so thin at the moment that they're finding themselves at the mercy of Rosero, who is 6-1-4 and continues to just dominate proceedings in this game.
Yeah, that's the reason why you see Kalma so down in farm, because he's been forced to side lanes just about every chance. I mean, the skin is pretty, but when you have to roam constantly to help your teammates, you can't pick up farm, you can't get your itemization in quick enough. Predator sure is a helpful keystone to move to these side lanes, but you're going to be so far behind in EXP, you're going to be so far behind in gold if you're not picking up a lot of kills on these moves, which sure you've got 2, but you don't have nearly enough to even out this gold. And when you're AP solo Galio, you really need every bit of gold you can get to get that tankiness in, but it's just not enough here for Catalyst Blaze, and I like that phrasing. They've been spread thin, and because of that, you can see the game is super scattered. Their top jungle really struggling this game, and even Roach getting caught out in bot lane as well with a good over-the-wall gank from Rosero. So they need to find something, but it's all going to be in the backs of Roach and Red to do the DPS in these fights.
Yep, it is going to be all on the back of OG Roach. Everyone else has been stretched so thin by the chaotic nature of this game. See Roach there with that 10 CS lead with 2 kills to his name. The rest of his team has struggled very hard to get away from Rosero. This Kindred still without a mark to her name, has the minimum range allotted, and it's so hard to operate as a Kindred when you don't have that 4 stack mark as the game progresses. Trying to set up a play in the bottom lane here. We'll see if they can pull this one off, but you can see the rest of WyoBoomers are hanging around this bottom river. Could easily show up to turn this one if an engage happens.
Yeah, and that mark that was on the bot side scuttle just got secured. Red was too busy trying to look for a lane gank, understanding his win condition is Roach this game, and he just misses out on a contested mark where Roach and Cinema could have had first move. So really interesting priority here. They're going to try to go in with the Mag Storm, but Guppy just doesn't care. He just walks away, and now they're in so much trouble in a 3v3. Rosero's so strong. There's Hero's entrance. It's going to make it an unfair fight. Rosero's been shut down by Roach. That's a huge influx of gold to the Samira. Where's the Inferno trigger going to come out soon? Stunned up by the trample, but it doesn't matter. They get the fight anyway. That is massive from Kael'ma to join the fight, turn it around, and get Catalyst Blaze a huge influx of gold. Now they're going to look for this dragon in 2 minutes. With that insurmountable bounty that has been collected, WyoBoomers maybe a little caught out not respecting the Galio ultimate.
Yeah, what a turn. What a fight from Catalyst Blaze. They were falling behind, but they turned one out of nowhere, as you mentioned. Oh,
look at the aggressive play. Winners is here. He showed up out of nowhere as well, and look at this. Winners had joined the fight with the Sand United as well, and they commit 3 flashes to secure the kill. But look at the back end. Papa TP'd into this one, and it's a good headbutt out of the ultimate. The Lamb's Respite not going to do too much work when you're not available in it. It's a double kill here over to WyoBoomers. They're going to look for one more. They're going to find it. On to Cinema. Double kill over to Papa. He's got 2, and they trade this one back. And overall, Catalyst Blaze may still find an advantageous fight here, but they get so greedy, they overstay once again. It seems to be their curse this game, DJ.
Every time we try to compliment them, Necrox, something bad happens. That's so unfortunate. That fight was so brilliant from him in the bottom lane. It was the narrow win condition we talked about. An engage was missed. Another engage came through from WyoBoomers. Birdman went in on the Alistar. He was separated from Guppy and Rosero, and in came the ultimates. Kael'ma flies over the top. Major Winters flies in over the top. Shields going everywhere. They absolutely blow up the fight with all of their ultimates. They have priority around River, but as you mentioned, they stay a little bit too long. They get a little bit too greedy. They commit 3 flashes to take down Trinity, and by the time they're done taking him down, the rest of the team is back. Now, hold on here. Guppy may have overstepped.
Yeah, Guppy forces flash for flash, but a good headbutt there to dissuade the engage there. Roach not able to clean up that kill using the heal to try to close the distance. Without Nimbus Cloak on the Samira, you're not going to get too much speed, and good use of the Gale Force there from Guppy to get out of that one. That is what Samira can do. She doesn't feel like an 80 carry at times. That was certainly one of those moments, and Cinema and Roach certainly doing well here, 4-1, but look at the members of WyoBoomers hovering around this bot lane in Dragon.
Yep, they really want this one. Probably a little disappointed they lost out on the second one with the advantages they've had in this early portion of the game.
Red.
Oh, no.
Red, no, you can't be that far up. Trample, and it's into a rocket belt that ends up killing. Cinema now has to Fermency crash down over the wall. There's your ultimate from Rosero. He's going to go forward. Roach at about half HP. There's the shield bow that's popped. He's stunned. He's knocked up. Can't get any much. There's the Inferno trigger. They've turned around to the tower dive, and Roach gets himself a double kill. Francesco going a little too far forward with Birdman, and they get the double kill onto Roach on the Samira. He's at 1 HP. Has to take the base now if they want to secure the dragon, and an overreach from Boomers may cost them this this objective. The curtains have opened. Directed camera not quite taking us down to the action. Force shot will go through, but it won't find any kill. Boomers still in position, though, for this Drake. They will take it.
Yeah, they will take it, but we are seeing a banger in these fights right now. Necrox, despite the gold lead, they can't dive. They keep overstaying in these fights. Do the WyoBoomers. We talked about the win conditions for the side of Catalyst Blaze, and they succeed when the side of WyoBoomers comes into them, overextends into them. This is the second time in a row they've disrespected the ultimates from Major Winters and CE Red. They thought they could take down Roach, but you saw what shielding she got from both of those ultimates. Or excuse me, he got from those ultimates. They couldn't take it down her turret, and then they're just stuck inside all of those circle ultimates. The taunt coming in through Winters, the taunts coming in, the stuns coming in from Rel. They can't escape, and they just get taken down one by one. That's the second time in a row. If they continue to overextend into Catalyst Blaze, they will continue to see those same results.
I mean, that is truly an overreach. I mean, both these teams looking a little greedy for plays off the back ends of some interesting action, but regardless, it's Catalyst Blaze that have found themselves at a 4K cold deficit. It was about a little bit more than this last game, and Boomers were able to cleanly close that one out with a better competition. I think there are win conditions here for Blaze. Roach 6-1, Red finally completing his first item, but it's going to be a lot of work for Roach to do, and if they find the silence, if they find everything they need on the Samira in terms of CC and locking her down, then Roach is going to have a really, really hard time trying to carry this game. It is not an easy task. Winters will take a chunk out of the back of a Guppy there with a 4 shot, but regardless, this is going to be a really interesting late game, as it's really all on one person, and that person is named OG Roach.
Yeah, it is going to fall all on Roach. All the power here. 2 items. Has the shield though. Has the collector. 6-1-0. Likely the strongest member in the game. Rosero has those 7 kills, but he's a Rek'Sai. Even at 21 minutes, even with a large item lead, he starts to fall off just due to the nature of the kit and the access he has to fight. It's so hard for him to team fight. He's a better pick champion in these types of games and is slowly running out of that phase as we are starting to group around objectives. So do keep your eyes on Roach, and most importantly, keep your eyes on WyoBoomers as they go into these fights. If they go too far and overengage, that's when the turnaround will happen from Catalyst Blaze. If you're WyoBoomers, you want to try to get some chunks. You want to try and keep the fights a little bit shorter and not dive too far in. And if you're Blaze, bait it out, offer yourself up, and then turn it around, Necrox. That's what we want to see from them.
Yeah, you have to be able to re-engage. Samira isn't a champion that can just go all in at the very beginning. If she gets CC'd up, like I was saying, DJ, so many problems for this champ. The Blade Whirl can't do enough to keep you safe. Daredevil Impulse has to come online before that Inferno trigger can be pulled. And it's such an important part of this champion's kit. Rosero gonna flash forward to try to find Calmo, but a flash away means that Rosero won't find very much, but a flashless Galio and a flashless Rek'Sai for this sole point that could be happening in about 1:45.
Yeah, that flash is committed, and flash for flash is probably going to benefit Catalyst Blaze with the Drake coming up. It will force WyoBoomers to probably get priority around the Drake, although you can still tunnel in over the wall. Not having that mobility is always a huge part of Rek'Sai's kits and closing down any gaps to objectives or kills. So probably won't be too disappointed with that trade, as the Galio can always come in with the hero's entrance. We do see backs coming in, purchases coming in. So that Drake is up in just a minute and likely will be the site of our next big fight.
Yeah, the next big fight may just decide this game, is we all know what objective time it is. It's Baron that can be secured after this dragon. You always start at the smaller objective, but regardless, whoever wipes this fight certainly is going to look for that next big one, as 20 minutes has ticked past on the clock, 24 now to be precise, and with a sizable gold lead, it should be Boomers that have an advantage coming into this one, but you can never count a Samira out. Red on 1 item, still going to take his base. Finally, you can see the Zeal plus that shard coming in, so a little bit of extra DPS, but Kalma sitting on 1 item as well, has the stopwatch to make the big play. Winner sitting on 1 as well. It's all about this Stand United engage from Cinema, from Winters, and then that re-engage from Red and Roach at the end.
And you can see battle for vision taking place between the sides right now. Pretty much stalemated at the river, although a little bit of an advanced vision for WyoBoomers, but here comes the fight.
Forward, but he doesn't find very much with the Magnustorm. He may just be caught down. The 4-shot goes through, and Guppy gets it with a Gale Force, and they've lost their initial engage. What does a re-engage look like? The Curtain's not going to be able to find Red. He hops away for now, but the flash forward, the headbutt, pulverize the taunts there. A lot of shielding with the Sand United. Red's going to be kept safe just quite for yet. There's Samira in the fight. The Inferno trigger's been pulled, and Roach is godlike. Has a lot of healing with this shield bow in hand. Roach gonna still be confident to go forward at about full HP. Red low, no Lambs or Spite available for the fight. Needs to find a way onto the Dragon if they want to deny Soul Point, but with Rosero dead, there's no Smite available for the side of WyoBoomers, and because of it, Francesco will simply split push in top lane. They're going to give this Dragon available, and even with Cinema whiffing the initial engage, it's Catalyst Blaze that secure the Drake.
Yeah, looked a little scary there for Catalyst Blaze. We talked about it. They want to absorb a few abilities first. I do think they might have just gotten enough, even though Cinema went down so quickly, actually stepping out of the Kindred ultimate, allowing that 4th shot to come through. But once again, you see it. Rosero diving in. That champion has only one direction. It's red. It's in. And he dives into a bunch of shields, a bunch of CC, goes down once again without the jungler there. They deem it too risky to go for the Drake. They know they have another win condition in a couple of these late game scalers, the Victor and the Vlad. So they just allow Papa Francesco to continue to split push and start to create that side lane pressure as this game goes later and later.
And it feels like that these teams just aren't respecting what each other can offer. Whether it's Cinema going forward, not respecting what Victor can do to kite away, to silence you initially, to cancel that channel of the Magnustorm, but there's so much damage here Cinema has to be careful of. And then the other end, they try to commit with a flash headbutt pulverize onto Red, but they forget about the Stand United that comes in from Winters and saves the jungler. And because they lose Rosero for that, the ultimate was committed from Rosero trying to go forward to find the kill, that they lose their jungler, they don't have Smite, and then Red is able to secure the Dragon with that Smite. So need to be wary here of what each other have, not just what cooldowns you have, but rather what the other team can respond with. And now with a 5k gold lead still on the board here for Boomers, they're still sitting pretty, still have the advantage, but they need to maintain vision control, and Cinema doing his hardest to deny that, as the next objective that we could be fighting over could be a decisive one.
Yeah. It likely will be, unless we are waiting that full 3 minutes. I do think it would be an acceptable loss. Hold on here. Good flash by Winters.
Oh, Rosero's going to go in with that Prowler's Claw. Doesn't find very much. Remember, the pool is still available to drop that tower aggro. Francesco going to barely get away, but the taunt's there. The double taunt is in, and Rosero goes forward, trying to return this one back. There's Kelma, still trying to find the play. Conqueror's available. The Hex Tech Rock Belt damage won't connect, but the Justice Punch will just be enough to close the distance. Double kill on over to Kelma. The Baron was started. Meanwhile, Cinema has to get out of this. Red going to go low to the 4th shot. The Deadly Flourish won't connect. Trinity flashes forward to get the Magnet Storm down, or excuse me, the Chaos Storm. Magnet Storm not going to be used there by Cinema. Justice Punch away from Camel, who had TP'd into the fight later on. Roach trying to lifesteal. There is the taunt to get that little bit of extra survivability. Camel just barely gets away, and this fight is so close. But TP's in from Kelma may just dissuade the Baron attempt, but man, I thought that there would be a play there. Red is going to find Guppy. He has to flash away. Roach is there. He's legendary in the Samira. No way Birdman can get out of this one if Roach commits. The Inferno trigger going to be pulled, and there's the TP from the Vladimir. If they one-shot the Samira, it might be doable, but the taunt's there. It doesn't matter. Triple kill on over to Roach, and that is massive, and the Baron will now be started.
What a game we're watching here, Necrox. It's back and forth over and over. This time they almost respect the CC and the ability to dive on top from Catalyst Blaze in the bot lane, but it's not enough as the double kill comes over to the Galio. Chaos ensues in the fight around Baron. Couple members drop, but at the end of the day, it turns into a triple kill for OG Roach. Now they're on the Baron. Can Rosero steal it?
Rosero. Oh, Rosero. No, don't do it. He doesn't get it. Smite secured by Red. It was an early smite from Rosero, and he can't be the hero for his team. 45-second death timer. Not able to pull this one off on the Rek'Sai. And it's Catalyst Blaze that take this game under the noses of WyoBoomers. They weren't expecting the threat from this Samira. They weren't expecting the sheer amount of ferocity that Blaze has brought to this game. They've turned fights around. They've been confident. They've looked for plays. And all of a sudden, it's Blaze that have the upper hand.
It is Blaze with the upper hand. They somehow still trail in gold, but they have the Baron buff on all of their members. They're setting up for this Drake. It is Cloud Soul, so not exactly a soul that would be prioritized quite like an Ocean would. May just see the likes of WyoBoomers give it up, although they are posturing for it at the moment. Papa Francesco still up in that top lane along with Major Winters, but this is a huge chance to break it even further open for Catalyst Blaze. They need to win the fight to avoid losing this Baron buff, which they can use afterwards to break down all of the standing gold that remains. They still have taken only one turret and can really get themselves ahead. They've now actually taken the gold lead as I say that and find a really good lead for themselves to take them into the later stages of the game.
Look at Winters. He's just split pushing with the Baron with Stand United available. He doesn't need to join this fight. Meanwhile, Francesco has to sit here. No TP available on the Vladimir means that look at Winters. He's taken 2 turrets by himself. I'm not sure if they want to force this fight or just give this one up. Red's going to go over the wall. The smites don't come through. Both junglers don't have smite. It's an auto attack that would do it, but it's Rosero that comes in big at the end of the day. There's your ultimate forward. The taunt's going to be there. The stun as well from Cinema, but what can they find at the back end of the fight? It's Winters that's still split pushing. It's a hero's entrance out of the fight. Roach has to escape, uses the charge forward. Cinema's going to go in with a huge engage. The Magnet Storm may be massive. Headbutt throws him away. Roach is going to pull the Infernal trigger, but it doesn't find much as Birdman flashes away. Finally, the TP is going to come in. Top lane, Winter's still looking to take the base. It's Francesco that's going to stop it, but he's here. It may just be the end of the game, DJ. Francesco's at about half HP. The taunt goes forward, and Winters has slain the only one here to defend the base. Now the rest of the team is back trying to keep this Nexus turret alive. Winters is in so much trouble. He can't get out of this one. Has to turn the fight single-handedly. I don't think he can do it. The taunt goes forward, and there is finally the execution on the Winters that comes through with a Gale Force. It's 21-21. The Dragon was secure, DJ, but this game may just come down to the last bite and the last nail that can hang on to this game.
It absolutely will. This is madness, Necrox. What a chaotic game. Back and forth is an understatement for how this has gone. Catalyst Blaze trailed by as much as 7k gold at one point in this match. They have clawed their way back. They are 2k up, and while they do face a soul point in 3 minutes and 30 seconds, it's just Cloud Drake. It will benefit the likes of WyoBoomers, but it's not the game-ending buff that Ocean Soul is, that Infernal Soul is. They can even let this one go. They have all the advantages they need. They just need to protect OG Roach. He is so strong. He's 11-1 on this Samira, and what a pick it's been for them. Kiting back, allowing the pressure to come on, then using the Rel engage, the Galio ult and taunt, the shield from Major Winters. It has been brilliantly executed by a Catalyst Blaze, and particularly that last fight, a smurf by O Cinema to get that 3-man engage, take down Trinity, and continue to delay. And what's really concerning here is despite the Vladimir being so far ahead on CS, he just died to Major Winters. Just straight up died. He's 5-5-7 with 240 CS, and he just died in his own base. How are you going to split push? How are you going to create pressure on a side lane if this tank is just killing you 1v1?
Yeah, and this Shen has itemized perfectly for that split push. If you want to 1v1 the Shen, of course you have to hit him, and he's got the Bramble Vest. So you can't really take the 1v1 without losing a substantial portion of the healing. Titanic Hydra is in, Abyssal is in for the Shen. They've got enough to split push here with this Stand United. Winners finally not going to have TP available for that extra bit of security, but look at him. He's just sitting here in mid lane, fine to push out the wave while the rest of Blaze push forward for this turret. Just 5 minutes ago, DJ, no turrets were down for the side of Catalyst Blaze. They hadn't taken a single one 5 minutes later, fast forward a little bit, Blaze now have a lead in turrets. They have turned this one around completely. From the bottom of the table, they are second to last, and they are looking at WyoBoomers and saying, I don't give a damn about your wins. We are here to play. We are here to turn our season around, and they are looking for the play now. Cinema finally going to get that good engage in the last fight, looking at this squad and saying, yes, you have the tools to win the game. It's execution, and the pressure is on.
Minute 30 now till that Cloud Soul, but 30 seconds on to the next Baron. You can see already prepping for it are Catalyst Blaze. They want to be the first to this fight like they were in game number 1. Try to set up some sort of fight around Vision. They have the power. They have the strength. Despite a terrible start to the game, this Kindred actually almost has 4 stacks. We're still working on it. But again, it just doesn't matter with how strong Roach is. If you just keep the Samira safe, she's not going to die. She's going to kill absolutely everyone. That is all that matters to the side of Catalyst Blaze as they set up for this second Baron that is now on the Rift.
And Red desperately looking for another mark. 4 marks is that power point for the Kindred, but if you can't get 4 marks, this game is really only on Roach. We've been talking about him all game on this Samira. It's a huge pick for Catalyst Blaze, but Red needs to be able to do something. You can't depend on your 80 carry to 1v5, 1 bit of CC, and that's the fight over for Roach. I cannot overstate it how easy it is to shut down a Samira in a fight if she gets CC'd, and now they won't look for Baron. You can see Birdman just clearing away Vision. It's going to be Dragon that will be the fight. Cinema going to lock forward with that Magnet Storm. They find the Jim, but it's a flash away from the 80 carry. Guppy doesn't have much to get away. Trinity has a flash available. The taunt won't connect. It's a golden. It's a stasis. Red is here and the Lambs are spiting. All the members are going to be locked up into this one, but Trinity goes down first. They might find the fight. Catalyst Players are looking at this team and saying, this one is mine. They're going to go for it. They find 3, and maybe this will be the game-ending push. Roach didn't even need to be there for the fight. It was the rest of Blaze that did it for their squad, and they'll take the base. This may just be game-ending.
It has to be game-ending. How can you clear this? All you have is a Vladimir and a Jin. There's no way Guppy and Francesco can clear this. They have no peel. This should be the end of the game.
They go. Nexus turret number 1 under fire. Francesco against the world. He's gonna go in with the pool, but the Nexus may just be the target. Francesco, they'll pad the stats. He goes gold, and the hero hunches is here as well. Cinema goes down, but with Guppy versus everyone, it's a double kill to end it all. And Catalyst Blaze turn it around in game 2 and tie this one 1-1. A beautiful performance from a lower seeded team against WyoBoomers. Absolutely sensational series to watch.
What a game. What a turnaround from Catalyst Blaze. As we've mentioned multiple times, sitting down at the bottom of the table, trying to find something for their squad, some point of momentum, something to build off of. Game 1 was not it. They felt like they were out of that for most of the game. A couple of good plays around Vision, a couple of positive notes, but nothing really strong to grasp onto. And you finally found it here. It's your man, OG Roach. 14-1-3 on this Samira. Great support by the rest of his team. They set him up for success, and he absolutely slays it. What a performance by Catalyst Blaze. What a turnaround. And this just may be the turnaround that they've been looking for in their season.
That is an absolute mental boost if I've ever seen it. Taking a game off of WyoBoomers after losing game number 1 in devastating fashion has to be one of the best things you can do. But don't take our word for it. DJ and I are here just to give you the shout cast, to break it all down while we get ready for our interview. Doctor and DJ, thoughts on the series, because this one was a banger.